think it's like right around there. Backing out, you can easily find where I want to go. That's like, see, because when you talk about the rim of the Grand Canyon, I don't really see a rim, right? But right over here, you go zoom right in here. Wait, am I wrong? See, it's all changed.
The rim's the very outside of
the edge, yeah. Because I always think of the shoreline when I think about rivers. But look at the whole thing in general. I mean, look at all that activity. Look at over here. Look at these straight lines that you see coming through there. This was like several projects. Over here, you see a straight. Here, let me max this out. I'm showing you. That's about it. That's the best we can do, right? I mean, you don't see rivers that are that straight.
Right, so look at that. That's crazy. That's a straight.
Then you see this over here. This is a 90-degree angle. And then, by the way, that's another angle over here. There's something going on. And, you know, we're just looking at it for the first time. But when you see activity like this, that's not okay. Randall Carlson calls it overnight flooding, as opposed to what's that word? I forgot the word that describes a slow process.
Slow erosion.
No, uniformitarianism. Uniformitarianism. Okay, so where I want to take you here, and by the way, I have pictures lined up. Let's go to the pictures first. First of all, what's this? Private. You can't see this. That's the freaking Grand Canyon right there.
Look at that. Just like by the Eye of the Sahara.
There's another shot. Well, okay, I think this is even better than the Eye of the Sahara, to be honest. Now here, I think that's a totally different way to create they're not taking out blocks for a pyramid. They're taking out dirt and ore, and they're scraping it, and they're bringing it to the river, and they're probably were doing water activities to rush it down this river. Whoops, this is an image. Tikaboo Height Outpost. To me, when I see that, and by the way,
you're still on the Google Earth.
Why do you say that? What's going on? Am I on Google Earth? No, I'm on Facebook. This is Facebook right here.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. This is just a picture. To me, that looks like they did some intentional scraping. Now, the weird part, when you see the top of the plateau, you see my cursor, right? My mouse. Do you see that?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, we see it.
There it is, and that's the top of the plateau. So then you've got water activity creating a fissure, and then you've got these straight lines inside not the top of the plateau. No. That's not the good stuff. The good stuff is down below, and that's what they wanted. So they're not going. I see this everywhere. I can show you that at the Rashad structure. I can show you that in Utah. That's the way they did it back then. Okay, let me go forward. So that's one way they did it. This is another way. I call them polygonal lines, because when you look at these lines, and here you see two sets, but sometimes you can see three. Now that not here, that's just two, but come on. That's pretty damn obvious. That's not wind. That's not water.
90-degree angles, right? Like that's
not quite. Those are actually, I believe, 30 and 60. That's 30, 60 degrees.
And the theory they claim is that that's from like ice ball Earth, and it was like glaciers or something that originally did that, right? Am I not mistaken? Like that's the official narrative?
Well, there's no official narrative for this stuff because we never saw this in high school. Next photo. I mean, now here you can see triangles. So yeah, here you've got three directions. Technically, it's not quite. This is a relief cut, because what you don't see is triangles. You see a relief cut, like over here where my mouse is. That right there, to me, it's definitely three sets of lines, but they're so slight. So you don't really get the real triangles here. Let's go to the next one if I can. This one definitely has triangles. And when you see the triangles, you're like, okay, how that's actually a 33 by 30. Like that's like a isosceles triangle. What's the name of it when it's perfect? When it's perfectly 180 degrees divided by 3. 60
right.
each. It must be 60 each. Those look like they're 60 each right there. You're seeing 3 sets of lines there. Let's just take a quick look. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me, I'm seeing some up downs, and then I'm seeing this direction right here. Now, do we see another? Yes, I see it now, right there. So you've got triangles. And in my opinion, it's just too convenient. And when you see the stuff in South Africa, these are like these little rectangles here. And just to me, you can't tell me that's natural. You can't tell me that's wind erosion or water erosion. That's like DNA in stone. If water did that, then the stone has a DNA that we just can't comprehend. And I don't believe that's bedrock, right?
Yeah, right.
This is the Grand Canyon. I want to find. Okay, that's the Sahara Desert. But if you look closely at this, and I can't zoom in, or maybe I can. I can zoom in. You can see these lines. This is the Sahara. Those are 90 degrees right there, in my opinion. Let me see if I can go to the next one. Hopefully it's the Grand Canyon. Okay, so we're actually navigating away from the Grand Canyon images, which are right here. Anybody can go to facebook.com, Was This Atlantis? I want to show you the mound, so I'm going to have to go to Google Earth. So here we are in Google Earth. I mean, just look at those lines. I mean, you're telling me that's a freaking wind? No, that's an ancient machining technique. That is quarrying at its most advanced. You don't even get that today.
Right, like it's undeniable, and that you found them on multiple areas of the world, and it is ancient, advanced macro mining.
I like to show off my skills, so I'm going to zoom in. That's the StreamYard. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry, I got to move it to the correct one. Now you can see, right?
Yes, sir.
We go over to Africa, and I can show you the way to get there. Let me make it north-south, though, or otherwise I'm lost. We have basically right over here, there's the fish. I call that the little fish. That's the little fish. And so right over here, this part of Algeria, when you zoom in, you get – wait, I got to find the right one. I think I'm far away. It's over here. Where does it go? It's right about, see, this is what I don't want to do. And you zoom in right there. Oh, that's not the one I want to show you. This is another one. And you get these lines. This is Sahara Desert. Those are triangles. They're not perfectly parallel, but they're straight enough. They're straight enough that you're getting geometric shapes in the plateau. I don't see how that can be done by a natural process. I wanted to show you this, actually. It's out here. It's right here. I finally learned where it is. And again, you get the same geometric cuts. I think you've seen this before. And you get triangles and out in the middle of nowhere. So if you say it's modern day, which I could be convinced of that. But now we're going to go back to this is the Grand Canyon. And to me, when you see straight lines like that, there's just no way that was done. And the ones in Utah are not as straight. Look at it over here. And then suddenly they're all wanky and joggly, and they couldn't stay straight. It just lost it, or this was a different project right there. Let me show you that mound, and then I'll give you the control back. As I zoom out, this is hard to find. I guess it's right here. So that means the mound's right there. I'm even lost again. I'm always lost. You get lost easy
easy to get lost in the Google.
Let me try one. Go ahead. Go on. I'm listening.
Yeah, maybe just search for Isis
there it is.
Temple.
There it is. Yeah. No, I was going to my mound. The mound is right there. This mound right here. See, and by the way, this scan sucks. So there you go. They screwed it up again, but this double saddled mound, and when you look everywhere else, you see the same, like I just showed you a minute ago, the polygonal stuff, like this is all around it. Let me just find that in what's called satellites.pro. And then I'll drop control. I even stopped sharing my screen, to be honest. But
no, don't do that. Well, just
I got ADHD, man. I got ADHD. Okay, so here we are. It's kind of hard to find. So here we are in northern Arizona, and then we're zooming in on the Grand Canyon. It's totally different from any other I mean, when you look everywhere else, it's like that's way different. Something happened there. Something was done there. And then we get over here. I see this right here. To me, I don't want to describe why, but I can tell where I'm going. And there you go. There's the mound. And look over all around it are straight lines. All around it are straight lines. And by the way, I think this is younger than what you were showing. Yeah, if you look over here, you see straight. Oh, well, I don't know what happened here. Somebody was like, okay. So the wind did that, but the wind also did this. So tell me more how the wind can control.
Makes no sense.
Water did it or wind did it? I don't think so. Yeah, it's totally. I mean, you look at that and you say that was cut by a machine, ancient machines. This a little different, right? But probably the same era, different project, same era. And then where's my mound? Oh, let's back out. Okay, so if you can figure out this little thing, let's just call it the buttocks. Down below the buttocks over here is the mound. And there it is. I mean, where's my 3D? I can't do 3D here. This doesn't have it. But I'd love to drop in there.
Good spots, right?
Here, let's grab the. Can I grab the coordinates?
And then before you relieve control, can you also do a quick search around the Isis temple area?
Yeah, I have that right. Where was it? Let's start again, because I want to know where it is here. Let's do it this way. Let's search from right here. Isis temple. Did it show up? Okay, so I want to see where it is here. So the place I was right here. I'm going to click on that in a second. But before I do, where was I? So the place that I just showed you, I'm lost. I'm lost.
Was the beauty?
Oh, now I messed it up. Okay, let's just go in now. Okay, so I know where I am, but I wanted the audience to know. Okay, so here we go. There it is over there. Okay, why is it zooming out? Zoom in, baby. Zoom in. There you go. Okay, I won't forget now. Look at it.
Right, you got to save all these data points so we can go back easily every time.
You're lucky you can at least search it, and they call it the Isis Temple for a reason. It's not like they made that up in the last 20 years.
Right, it's been since the first found and named, and that there's the Shiva Temple, the Horus Temple, the Buddha Temple, the Pyramid of Ra, the Apollo Temple, the Ottoman Amphitheater, and literally 30 others.
I got lost
all
again.
In this area.
Oh, there it is. It's kind of like a starfish. Right. And how many points did it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, kind of 8. I almost want to count that as the same. Then 9. And this is the head right here, and that's the tail right there. And by the way, when you look at my mound, okay, I'm just going to do this for your audience and my audience too. Let's do it in US. Let's do it here. Let's go out to my mound, which I found in South Africa. Easy find. Go to Lesotho. It can't go to. Oh, by the way, we can't do a 3D here. That's too bad. But I mean, this thing right here, it's kind of reminiscent. You can see the line that goes right there, and I just zoom right in. And tell me that wasn't created. And I can't do the 3D shot that I always do.
The tops are identical, and then you've got that bigger structure overall that looks like it's been mined down to the back of it or above it, right?
Well, this is what I think. There were several projects. This line goes on for miles and miles. You can follow it. Look at that. That line goes on for a long time. It's old. It's like 1 million years old. And yeah, maybe a later civilization, there is a line. This line like that could have been east-west a long time ago. Now it's not. But that line gets connected to these other channels. And by the way, I always look right here where the city is. But when you come back out, you see these parallel lines. They did a lot of stuff to the land. Look at that mound right there. Whoops, sorry. Satellites.pro is a little finicky. But that mound is probably what that stuff came and went right there. Back to your thing, Isis Temple. You can see, in my opinion, the same effect. These little amphitheaters, they're too extreme. And it's interesting when you see the water, you say, oh, look how natural that is. The water just came right in there. No, that was first mined out. That was first mined out. And then the water, that's later. That water event happened later.
Right, like so, it was filled. You can see that there were shores there almost. Like there are bays, I imagine. Shout out Solar Marshall.
How many people do I got watching on my channel? It says 16, but they always lie, right?
Exactly.
It says 18, 14 thumbs up. Thank you on my end. I gotta definitely open up cryptos. Oh, you can even see my thing there. Is that on your end? No, that's on my end. That's wait. Did you just share my comment with the 5 hands?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, there they are. That I don't know how to do yet. You're beyond me.
It's because I'm in control. You can't do it on this time. But when you're doing it yourself, you just click on the comment and then it pops up.
You just click on it. Yep, I'll try that. I haven't been using StreamYard very long.
You've been doing it though. I like you're fast learner.
Right? I just started. By the way, the 2 videos ago, I could have enlarged the screen, and there I was with my little square. Like, we're down on the corner now. I don't know. We're in StreamYard, so I'm not seeing you. But over here, what I'm seeing on my side, I'm seeing the map. Okay, stop sharing that. Okay. I'm seeing everything.
Before you stop sharing, though, you got to just go through, try to look for the Ottoman amphitheater in here. It's like right next to it.
Okay, let's see if I can use my voice recognition on this. Is it going to work? No.
Right, and look at where the
lazy
is to the rest of those.
The Ottoman amphitheater. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. Let me try it again. How do you spell Ottoman?
Ottoman, I believe. Ottoman.
Okay, let's see. No? Oh, wait. It gave me a bunch of junk. Hold on. Let me get rid of that. Oh, I think it's hearing me after all. I'm going to turn that off. Ottoman. I think that's the wrong Ottoman. Ottoman. Okay, I totally messed that up. How embarrassing. That's the problem with live stream, right? Okay, here we go. Ottoman Germany. No. Okay, by the way, I was just talking about, we grew up in California saying with an L. Amphitheater. Is it
really? Amphitheater.
Yeah, that is a weird one because.
Do we have another Mandela effect?
Well, I'm worried about the spelling of Ottoman, actually. Amphitheater. Let's put the L in there. Let's put the L. Amphitheater. That's weird. So it's not finding it. Let me get everything out of here and just get one window. There you go. One window. One ring. Rules them all. Sorry. And by the way, I'm making fun of. Yeah. I am not a Lord of the Rings person. Okay, Ottoman amphitheater is just not working. Let's try this again. The Ottoman amphitheater in the Grand Canyon. Then you get it, right? Then you get it. Okay, yeah, that's called AI, right?
Big's great at problem solving. Just use AI.
By the way, no L. Here it is. Ottoman amphitheater. I just kind of wanted to do it now. Where are we compared to?
I think it's just a couple over from the Isis temple. It's in the same.
Yeah, area. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Isis temple is here. Let's just take a quick look. There's the Isis temple. When well, let's put it north and south, or otherwise I will be. Oh, now it's gone. Let's try that one more time. What happened to all my searches? No, now it's gone. It's right there. That's it, right there. I already know where it is.
Right there's ISIS. You got the ISIS.
Okay, so let's back out and look at it again. Okay, so there's that. And so here we are, north south. There it is. So you got it. By the way, let's not ignore the fact that you've got a sister mountain complex across from it.
Yeah, it's this whole complex area, right? It makes no geologic sense, and they're all in this giant valley area, like this one spot there.
Okay, so now I know where I am. And so over here is the ISIS right there. And then down below, you have Bright Angel Campground, and over here is the Ottoman Amphitheater. What I'm seeing here is opening 1, 2, 3 points. But
yeah,
wait,
each of those points behind it are the other different temples and pyramids. And a few buttes in there too for you.
I don't trust buttes no more.
Buttes are a beauty of.
I say butt. I say butt now. Butt or buttock.
But what's under it? But what's in it?
The buffundra, the butt frunda, fromunda, the fromunda, the butt fromunda.
So okay, let's. The Ottoman Amphitheater, yeah, it's just to the west of that.
Okay, what I see is a lot of different. Okay, either you've got like multiple events going on right there. The creek itself is one that's recent. Then you've got this outer ridge that's a little less recent, right? Maybe that's when they were doing all the placer mining. And then you've got these top plateaus. And by the way, what I just showed over there, remember, I told you the same story. Let's go. Okay, that's your Ottoman. Let's just do a duplicate so I can share it one more time. I guess they're all over here. Okay, let's just see if I can find it. So there's the Isis temple, and then this is the Ottoman amphitheater right here. But when you go into where I was over here, what I want to, I'm trying to make a point. All the mining is not done on the top plateau. Okay, so here it is right here. Now I know it doesn't show as well, but the top
what you're saying though. It's
top plateau is here. That's the top plateau. I think I can even go 3-dimensional. There we go. There we go. So you've got the top plateau way up there, but the goodies are down here. So something happened between this
the top off, yeah,
and this. It's totally stripped. Like they were getting that gold. Okay, there's my see how shitty it is. There's my, and I can go out and I can do a 3D thing right here. I can go 2D and then 3D, but it doesn't show it as nice. If we use the history function, it's still not as good here. I guess I can try to do it here on this Google Earth Pro. Google Earth Pro, same story. Let me get rid of this.
They like to blur the really good areas.
Right? Yeah, right. And then there. By the way, Isis Temple's right there. That's the Ottoman. What's the other one you wanted to search? Look at that straight line right there. It goes all the way. By the way, it doesn't hit the top plateau, and it's not necessarily straight, but it's this one line goes across the river here, and it keeps going straight this direction. And you've got these other cross points here and here, and it seems like it makes it all the way over to here. In my impression. But by the way, what is that thing right there? What is that? Another butte, right? But you got that straight line going right next to it. Yeah, it got a little bit degraded.
Right, and was that the original like dam water barrier that then got eroded out or catastrophic failure sort of thing?
Oh, now you make me want to pull out pictures of the Rashat structure. Because I've been looking at the Rashat structure so long. Here, hold on. Let's open it up here. I don't know what this. Yeah, this is close enough. Let's go down there. I want to show you something. By the way, these LiDAR images of the Rashat, you don't see this here. I've been looking at this straight line for a long time, but until I saw the recent LiDAR image, I didn't know that was a dam right there. And there's not just that dam. Check this out. That's a dam. It goes right across. And then here, another up, down, straight up and down, north, south, by the way, dam. And there's more. There's all these ridges. You can't see them from Google Earth, but they're right here. They're damming up the Wadan River up here, and down here they're damming it. They have agricultural ridges. Now, These ridges are all over Africa. I'll just quickly go to this delta, which there's 4 countries right here. They're crisscrossing each other. But when you zoom in, you can see there's something else was going on back then. These are called the Kalahari canals. And there's more than just these canals, but these, I've measured it myself. By the way, there's an escarpment. There's a flood event that just annihilated those canals. But you can still see the canals survive down here. But this flood event still lowered the ground. Something happened right there, a flood event, I believe. But
right,
these
and
canals,
maybe oceanic, like are there lots of salt deposits around it, and that's why it's more desert?
well, you see the white salt over here. Now, this is the river delta. I honestly can't really respond to that. I just don't know. But then over here in Namibia, you've got these straight lines, and I believe those were put down artificially. These go for 200 miles. I don't care what you tell me. I don't believe that a sand dune can go for 200 miles. So when we're talking about
something else forming the base of the actual structure of it,
like a tractor, like an ancient tractor or some ancient dump truck, just dropping this down saying we're making this. Why? I have no idea. This goes on for 200 miles. Those aren't sand dunes, okay? By definition, they aren't sand dunes. I do believe they're a little bit degraded, and maybe wind altered them, but I don't think so. When you get in there and look at that, that doesn't look like a ridge of sand anymore. It looks like rocks. Those are rocks, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I've never been to Namibia, but they look like rocks making these lines.
Wow.
So all of Africa right now, and by the way, I haven't even gone through South Africa on your stream. When you start looking, whoopsie daisy. Oh, I've been drinking. You can tell. Don't drink in Google Earth. No, I'm not. Okay, so by the way, I promised one more thing. The Cal Topo, man. The Cal Topo, somebody was asking, what was it, an hour ago? Where's Sutter's Butte? And I promised it, and there it is, right in the middle. This used to apparently be a lake. Somebody sent me the link. It used to be a lake. And the breach is right here. This is the breach, and they drained it right out here, just like the Pillars of Hercules. In fact, if you're going to refer to the American Pillars of Hercules, it's the Golden Gate Bridge. That's Central California right there. Say again?
That actually makes sense from like an ancient perspective for sure.
Look at this thing. Now, here's the other thing. Now, hopefully it clears up. There it goes. Beautiful. Now, when we talk about the possibilities of what created that, and you say, oh, it's a volcano. And by the way, all those ridges that I showed in my video this last couple of weeks are all down here because the road goes right there. So I took the road through it, and I got all the shots from this part right here. Those walls, okay, those are probably 500 to 1,000 years old. Okay, but when you look at this whole thing, does that look like a volcano to you? And the word caldera, you're a geologist. That's the ring, right? That's the rim. That's the confusing thing that I mentioned. So this doesn't have a
caldera, like will sink in, right? Like
okay, so you studied geology. Do you see a caldera here?
No.
I don't either. And by the way, there's multiple peaks. By the way, okay, so
yeah, multiple peaks, absolutely.
So look at the circle out here. And I see what I would think would be a degraded mound. But then when you zoom in and you see what's happening in here, I think that's a more recent event that weathered this whole dome. I think there was somebody had a house up here. That's long gone. There's a peak here. I can't go 3D here. We can go 3D on here. Let's go 3D on Google Earth for Windows.
Oh, yeah.
It's not very good. Let me see if I can change that to 3D.
Oh, that's better.
Let's try to change the setting. 3D buildings, maybe. 3D coverage. Let's go in now. Yeah, it's changing a little bit. And look at this. There's not a caldera there. There's like so many peaks. I believe that was weathered away slowly. That's 1 million years or more that weathered all this. I mean, how many storms would it take to change the top of a mound to multiple peaks? And then when here's the other thing, I believe. So there's the road I was on. And over here, let's zoom into the roads that we found, the walls. You don't have to work very hard to find them down here. Just zoom in and you're going to see them. There you go. Over here. That's a road, right? I can't see yet. Let's see if it clears up. It's not clearing up. What happened? No, I want to show you the walls. The walls are everywhere. Here's how we find them. We go to the beginning. Here's the road I took. It's called Pass Road. Pass. And over here, there's a mound. And there is some of the wall, in my opinion, right there. But it doesn't show up very clear. We should be using satellites.pro for this. I don't think I've even done this yet. And when we zoom into satellites.pro, we'll get a better view, I think.
Brand new STIG geology going on.
There it is. Okay, let's get rid of this thing. What's that all about? That is irritating. Is that true? That's not going to go away? That sucks. That sucks. Okay, so there's the mound I just showed you right there. And so you're driving in Pass Road. By the way, now it's labeled. Why is that there? That sucks.
Because you have to have a Google commercial with the Pro.
Let's just reboot it. Let's try one more time. I just don't believe that. You see? It's gone. Yeah, just refresh it. It's supposed to be over there on the right. So there you go. There's Sutter's Butte. I hope that by the way, how are the chats coming in? Who's that guy that asked about that? I'm sorry that we didn't respond sooner. Because a lot of people can't last for an hour and a half. Okay, so there you go. So there's the road right there. And when you zoom in, I can't do it here. I'm going back to Google Earth. I do believe that. Okay, let's look at the mound and see if we can find the wall there. Because this is a little clearer. It's totally disappeared. It's not even there. What is this? I don't even know what that line is. I think that's a road that goes right up the hill.
Road to the house.
That's as close as I can get.
Around it. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I let's forget satellites.pro failed us. I see a wall over here.
Still here.
I see a wall over here, but here's what I want to show you. And I drove through here about 3 weeks ago. This little valley here, when you get into here, you can see the walls right away. Right about here. Right there. They're like these walls. Now, by the way, here's the deal. And by the way, I'm doing my Biden impression. In another thing. So those walls, I think they're like 500 to 1,000 years old. They look like they're made out of lava rock. But in my opinion, the lava rock was dumped here millions of years ago. This little mound, this wasn't several peaks. This was a mound. All this stuff you see around here, that was weathering. It wasn't so spread out. It was tighter. And then time let it spread out. And when you look at the Caltopo, you can see how it spread out a little bit. So there's several events happening here. You've got the mound. I believe somebody dumped it. Somebody with a lot of equipment. They wanted to see their valley. They wanted to send a message to Earthlings that this was intelligently dropped right in the center. Like, you can't argue with that. It's not a volcano. They say it's a volcano because there's volcanic material there, but I think it was a dump. And that volcanic material slowly changed over time. You've got several events here. The fact that it's spread out is one event. Those little feelers weren't the original look of this mound, but then weathering took them out to that diameter. Then you've got this stuff that happened in here. Those were different later events. This is like 1 million years old or more. You said several million, and that's the thing. Were there humans doing this? I kind of doubt it at that point. I think it was giants or aliens, Anunnaki, looking for gold. Whoever built that mound, that was his kingdom. He had a house on the top of that.
You bring up a very good point of was it had to be like this master builder race, and was it giants? And there's all our creation stories around the world that there were giants in the previous civilization, and then it's like before that, were those the fallen ones, and was there even bigger titans, or who knows what? But that in the millions of years, that's definitely a real possibility, and that it was some sort of master creator, like super technologically advanced and larger, like people or civilization, right?
Well, it's obvious to me. By the way, there's more than that. Let's go over to Utah. It's kind of hard for me to find. Utah's about there, right? Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see if I can do it. Let's find. And by the way, this whole area right there, that looks work to me, right here. To me, that looks a little different from what you find over here. Brian Remondini, thank you for your comment. James Steffens, thank you for your comment. Hopeful Soul, thank you for your comment. David V, you're still here. Thank you for your comment. I can't pronounce that. AK, that's Russian. Oh, somebody loves BurnEye. The name AKB.
KB.
They're over on my channel. There's so many things here, you know. Let me just start from the beginning. Wait, I got to use the mouse. Is that it? No, let's go. I use CalTopo. CalTopo. Now, the first thing that opens up here, wait, is it going to happen? It's taking its time. Is the Pytown straight lines that I discovered. I take full credit for this. This is Pytown. You've seen it before. These lines are 12 miles long, and there's two of them. The other one's up here, and they're totally parallel, and they totally go, the believe it or not, I drove over here, right about here. That is the Continental Divide. The road goes right through it. These ridges were controlling the Continental Divide. This one, it's got a lot of things I can talk about. I call these things nubs. Obviously, this nub right here, look how straight that is. Don't tell me that's a natural thing, right?
It's not. It can't be, but
it's a ridge. It was, look, you see the river? No, the question here is, did they stop and start again?
No, the river eroded it out afterwards, clearly.
Or did the river do it afterwards? I don't know. But you got this thing I call a switchback that gets the river twice, or was it 3 times? I think it's twice there. Maybe a third time got washed away. Something was controlling the water. It was an ancient water management system. And look at that straight line. It ain't stopping. It's going into the mountains. But before it does, it's got another switchback. And that is the Continental Divide, and the river goes right in there. Did the river wash that out? Or was that actually telling the river where to go?
Right? Like, it's just like everywhere else that you've found these and shown, and that it's directly this ancient water macro management system.
Oh, yeah, I love this part. Giants in a try. See, you say tree stump. Look at that mound. It's right there on that plateau. It's so perfectly centered right there for worship. Just like the mound that I was showing you over. Wait a minute. Why is that? What's going on? Oh, I know what's going on. Never mind. Right over here, you get this mound. I mean, people were making mounds. And the one in Utah that's very similar. It's a big, huge. It's hard to find, and I don't want to waste a lot of time finding it. I think it's very close to, what was the Promised Land called?
Zion.
That's right. No. What's the other city in Utah? It's like okay. Let's go to the other map. It's easier for me to find over here in the other map. Because there you go. There's Salt Lake, right? Is that Salt Lake? No, wait. That's not Salt Lake. Where am I?
Is that Tahoe?
By the way, that's the Salton Sea. We're looking at some new stuff down here right now. I got some new friends from CPAC 2024. Okay,
Very nice.
By the way, I don't know what all these things out here are. Those things are okay. So where's Salt Lake? Right there. And so right by Salt Lake, that's Salt Lake. Go over to it's Moab.
Yeah, Moab is something else. Moab looks like complete ruins of an ancient apocalyptic site.
Oh, the whole area, Canyonlands, for sure.
Yeah.
Where's my thing? I had that all ready to share. It was all ready to share, Canyonlands. But first we got to find Moab. So there's Salt Lake right there. So where's Moab? Down over here? Right? I know it. Once I see it, I'll know it. Here's what we do next. We go to the search term and put in Moab. And by the way, what am I looking for in Moab? Well, I'm looking for that dome that looks similar. I don't know why these yellow lines are showing up. It's kind of weird. So there's Moab. I've been there a few times. Look at that valley right there.
Right.
Look at that valley.
Super sus just to start out with.
It's right next to the Colorado River. That's the Colorado River going right through it. Now, by super sus are these lines. And then the arches. I just went to the arches.
Wow. Right?
Yeah, who did that? Yeah. It's wind. It's all wind. And yeah.
No, it is not. And no, erosion do not form all of these ridiculous perfect arches and everything. Like, that's just wild.
Well, just what I was showing earlier, and I'm not going to navigate away now. So all these little plateaus, yeah, there's water creating them, but there was also, look at this part right here. Like, that just happened to get this weird line thing, but over here, no.
Right? Like,
it's like, no, that's not the way this stuff works.
Look like eroded statues or something.
Look,
right?
This plateau was a mining project. This plateau maybe less. This plateau maybe less. You still can see these cut marks. I showed you this at the Grand Canyon just a moment ago, right? For your late viewers, I think I'm going to grab it back real quick. Where is that? Let's try this one. Is that it? Did I do the wrong thing? Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's forget that. But yeah, these lines by Moab, that's Moab. Over here, it's like over here on the other side of Moab, they did the same thing. But not in the middle of Moab. Arches is up here. There's so many things to see. An arch collapsed just a couple months ago. Look at these lines. And the label they have, I drove right there, I believe, right there. The label they have for this stuff, these were all arches. I think, okay, look, I'm going to say it again. I think it was ancient mining, but the people doing it created the arches as a pastime. Like a little bit of this is all Moab. This is like Arches right here. Arches National Park. I was just there. And then you go down.
How do you have a national park of just all these ridiculous, amazing arches? That doesn't happen naturally.
Well, you know how it is. They cover up. Let's turn off okay, so the historical, let's turn that off. Let's turn off all this crap. 3D coverage, I guess. Okay, so that was all 3D covered. Now when we go in, we're going to see the natural stuff. Additional layers. Let's turn it all off. I'm just going to go to the Trivergence because that's how you find it. So okay, let's go north. That's the problem I'm having right now. And now that we're north, there's Moab, and there's the arches above it. And then when you go down, there's another river called the Green River. You can see this so-called dome right there, which is highly sus. But then you have what I think you call it the Trivergence point right here. The Green River and the Colorado River combine. And what do you have right next to that? These strip. By the way, you see the word strip.
Look at that.
I call it strip mining. Strip mining, right? But it's a different kind of strip mining.
How can anyone claim that as like water erosion or natural erosion? That's wild.
And when you see triangles, when you see a triangle, you know that it's not natural. I see a triangle right there. When you see a triangle, that means there's parallel lines coming from 3 different directions, just like I showed you. And by the way, this is your amphitheater. That's why I think it was mining. Somebody right here, they grabbed all this content and they threw it in the water, and they let the Colorado River deal with it, and they probably met it downstream somewhere where they collected the content for future processing, maybe. placer mining. Placer mining. And I do a lot of videos on the Rashad, but I mean, come on. I am Kairos. Welcome to the stream. I am Kairos. We were talking about you earlier. Definitely got to get together. We're going to drive up and see you when BurnEye or other, AKA Crypto.
Absolutely.
He's going to come down. We're going to drive up. We're going to do a mountain trip.
We're going to hike that, and we're going to... It will be a trifecta, the three of us, in trying to explore that cave that goes back.
Look at those lines. And you're telling me that that's wind erosion? No. I mean, are they perfectly straight? No. And by the way, this right here, that I need that 3D again. It's all been worked, my friend. It's all been worked.
Perfect semicircle on one side of it, and
this over here. Yeah, what happened over here? Perfect. They're making little places to do their mining.
Like, look at that.
I mean, they're processing. Look at that. That's, in my opinion, when you see that line right there.
Several perfect circles.
How many arches do you have in one line of mountains? You've got this one over here. Then you've got this ridge that separates this one. And then you've got this ridge separating this one. But you've got over here another one, and down here another one, and it just goes. And then you've got this weird strip mining thing. It's not a strip mine by the sense
standard. Yeah,
it's not really. I call that strip mining because those look like strips of content were taken out.
Like, imagine just giant machines the size of cities or these canyons digging these things out. Like, it was something from a very advanced prior, like, master civilization of some sort.
The machines we've got now are the size of cities.
Yeah, exactly. We're only now getting capable of doing this again, and thus why we're able to actually interpret what these features really are from.
Look at this. You got the river going right there. What were they doing? In most cases, I might say that's a damming, but not here. No, I think that was actually mining. And they were bringing it down to the water, and they were processing it. And look how straight those lines are. Come on, man. Look at this. And you see it happening over here. Now, here, I believe that's a different project. They cut it here for this river. Something was gathering water. They were running water. I believe they had a large water source. And they said, you know what? The Colorado River, it goes, by the way, you know where I really want to go is the top of the Colorado River. You follow it all the way up into the up here into Colorado. It's like up here somewhere. That's the beginning, the head.
Right, what's at the
headwater? Well, I you know what I have shown, which is hard for me to find right now. If I were to put in the roads, I can find it. Hold on. Let's go up here because I showed you Pie Town, right? Let's go to everything. And then we're going to back out and we're going to make sure it's north. And then we'll go and see how far off I was. So up here, right by Denver, basically. Denver is the entrance point. There's a road here that's 98. Walden, that's it. So here we are. We're almost there. Where's 98? That's a 40. And then is that the 98 or something? 14, huh? Okay, what I want to show you is going to be a little harder. Rand. Okay, wait a minute. That's where the Colorado River starts. So we're going down here. Where is it? There's mountain peaks. Is that it? I drove right between them. By the way, look at that. That looks like a mine, right? What are they doing up there?
Definitely.
That's not it. That's not it. I don't want to waste your time. What is this? So we're taking the 70, and then what's
we're
this
exploring
road?
Together. It's not wasting time. We're
131. Oh, I'm talking about that one audience member who's tapping his watch. By the way, what happened here? That is a mining project right there. When you see the discoloration, you know that they pulled that all out. Okay, where's the road? I want to find the road. 70 is here. Is it? It's not right over here. I got lost. See, that's the top of Colorado. That's way too far. It's just like right here, and I was headed towards the headwaters. I can't believe I can't see it. 70. It's Rand. I know it's Rand. Okay, now I really am. 38. See, this is where the big escarpment is. That's where the Rocky Mountains start. This is all plains.
Is Garden of the Gods in that area? Because I've covered that before, and that place is beyond super sus.
Really? No, I don't know about Garden of the Gods. Why don't I give up this and let you show us real quick? Wait a minute, though. Let me have one last chance here. So the 40 I was on, Walden. I was on this. Walden, so that's the 14. Okay. Is that okay? 14 was a dirt road and it attached there. The 40? It just doesn't make sense now. So this is why, by the way, look at that ridge right there. That is a ridge.
Another super sus.
Oh no, it's not a ridge. It's not a ridge. It's a crevice. Sorry.
One half a crevice and one half a ridge.
Well, I mean, you see something, a line. What's this line right here? What's that? Oh, no. Now I know what that is.
Oh, no,
that is a power line drive is what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the Colorado River. Wait. I saw it right there. Where'd it go? It was right here, and I just saw it. The Colorado River headway. Yeah, by the way, when I went up there it is. No, Colorado Reindeer Ranch. I'm sorry, I saw the wrong thing. Now I really am like pissing myself off. Okay, look. Let's put it north. Let's have it one more time. Walden, I know. Rand, I know. I know Rand. So when I drove through Rand, yeah, the 125, that's it. That's it. Radio, there we go. Thank you.
Here we go.
Are. You remember. Okay, there you go. We got Radial Mountain over here, and we got Parkview Mountain over here. And then I drove on here, and you've got these ancient, okay, they're not like the ones that I show you in California. I don't understand. That's a power line cut through. Maybe you call it a fire cut. But what you can see from a distance when you look at this is that this mountain, Parkview Mountain, has basically a dike going right through it. And when you get to the road, we can go to the little man and check it out. This one isn't the impressive one. There it is. That's it. Look how wide that is. And in my opinion, that's the small one. The thing is that we're driving through a high point of it, so it's a lot bigger. Now wait till you get to the other side. It's over here. Check out this one. I went here a couple times. In fact, I kind of should follow this right here. This one right here is an enormous wall. They call that a volcanic dike. And by the way, it goes through. Wow. It's controlling water. Yeah, I really think these are important. And how do I get out of here? Let me just show you this wall. Let me turn off the man. And you can see the wall there. Now, you do see it crosses a little bit right there. And it may go farther. There's some line there, but you don't really know. But that wall is going over to this mountain. And let's follow it to the mountain peak, Radial Mountain. There's that wall. We should take one more look. Let's get a little farther away. Let's get right here. And we'll go with the man. 125. I think that's a state highway. I could be wrong. Look how big that thing is.
Right? Like, it's huge. And the thickness as well. It's thick enough to actually support the weight of the water if it was diverting it.
This thing had no problem supporting the weight of the water. I stood right there. And what I did see is the same, it looks like granite, but there's a finer black dot. I don't know how to describe it. You're the geologist. So yeah, this thing right here is like basically a giant wall. I want to get way over here. Let's go way down here and look at the back side of it. It disappears. It's hard to see. This is not a good shot. And then when you get over here, you can see the other side. It was literally, this is a river right here. There's a river down there. Where is the river? This is actually the continent. By the way, I forgot to mention it. This is also the Continental Divide again. I swear to God, you go down the road, you can see the sign. And I took a picture of it. So you've got, let's back out. You've got these two lines, and there's dry, no river. And this one's going to, let's make sure it's north. This is always the problem, man. I wish it kind of reset on. So Radial Mountain, that one goes up to Radial Mountain, but it curves back down, and it comes down right there. And you see another one here. Let's look at this one. It's right across the river there. We can zoom in on that.
Look at that. So sus.
Yeah, and at the other side, you've got it over there. You can barely see it. It's on there, right there. Right there. You can barely see it, and it's a lot lighter, but it's definitely
buried too.
Yeah, let's go down the road and see if we can see this. See, when you're driving down this road, I know what to look for, so I stopped. But most people, they just drive on by. They drive on by.
Like, how they try to claim them as volcanic dikes. They were definitely dikes used to, change the course
Over here
of water.
Too. Don't forget this side right here. Yeah. And okay, so when you talk about volcanic dikes, now you make me want to go back to what's called Spanish Peaks, Colorado. Spanish Peaks, Colorado has, in my opinion, one of the best examples. Go to Colorado. Let's get rid of the little man, but we'll probably need him again soon. And when you see that escarpment of the Rocky Mountains, and then these are the plains, you stay over here, and you can already see them, those two little peaks. And they're always two peaks everywhere you go. Like whenever you see all these weird things. This one, you might as well, we should probably talk about it. Let's turn on the man again. I can already see it right there. This one is called the Devil's Stair Steps.
Anything super sus from the previous civilizations always has the devil's name in it.
Right. They call it the devil. By the way, I went to Devil's Slide in Utah. Look at that thing, man. And that's going right down the mountain. And it's the steps.
Straight steps.
And yeah, I went to Utah. I went to the Devil's Slide in Utah. You're driving down the road and you see this. And you're like, what the hell is that? That's the Devil's Stair Steps. But when you get out of here, okay, listen, this almost makes me think it is natural. Because when you see all these walls, and there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, that's the Devil's Stair Step. That wall goes pretty damn straight. That's why I don't think it's natural. But the fact of the matter is there's about 100 of these here. There's about 100 of them. Look at all these. There's hundreds and hundreds of them. And they're all, I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. I really can't say. Yeah, I am Kairos. Thank you for that. I am Kairos. He said Mount Diablo. I don't really know what Mount Diablo holds, but I am Kairos is going to show me whether I meet him there or not. Now, wait a minute. You say, okay, that's chaos. That's chaos, right? All those ridges, that can't be unnatural. That's got to be natural. But wait a minute. Let's go over here.
On a large scale.
Let's go over here. They're doing something. See that? See that? That has something special. And we'll talk about it real quick. I talked about it many times. You see how this ridge goes underneath the mountain, but this ridge, it junctions with the mountain. It's the same sea level. How can one volcanic... Okay, let's talk about volcanic dikes. Mainstream narrative says there's 3 events. 1, the bedrock cracks. 2, it gets full of magma. 3, the magma crystallizes. 4, the original bedrock erodes away. Is that what it looks like happened here? Did the original bedrock erode away?
Right, none of the 3.
So if you go to this neighborhood, you can see on the signs, they say this is a volcanic dike. But wait a minute, look at this. The junction from the south, the mountain disappears and allows a river to flow on the north. I think they did that on purpose to let a river go through there. Doesn't look like it happened, but over here, this one, and you follow that line, and you can see, I call it a start-stop, where they stop and move it over and then stop again. Hey, welcome back, Larry. And then, I drove right through there. I drove right there. And I got the shot from right there, and I took the picture. It looks totally, you can't see nothing. But from above, from Google Earth, now the north one junctions.
Another X.
And the south one disappears. Maybe a river was going to flow over this side. So they're diametrically opposed. This one, let's get them in the same shot right there. This one, the joint is at the south side. This one, the joint is at the north side. This one on the north side, it kind of mellows out and it just finishes. It just gets ended. But on the south side, it's same thing. It just ends. So they're diametrically opposed, right? Is that the right thing? By the way, don't forget all these other angles you see here. This angle, these parallel ridges. I drove through there. You can't tell from when you're driving through. Nobody can tell. Google Earth is the only way to know. There's a lot of these ridges. And then around this whole area, you've got these ridges. It's hard to see. This is why we have the topographical map. Let's go there and see if we can find it that way. Am I getting lucky? I get lost. Already I'm lost. And by the way, I am Kairos. Thank you for taking me on that tour in Napa. He's in the chat right now.
Absolute awesome work that I am Kairos does. The drone videos, the camera, and editing all together afterwards.
This is where I need to get back out and look at the normal map. I just can't see it. I'm totally lost. Okay, so we've got that bulge. Let's use that bulge as a coordinate. Is that it right there? So there we go. There we go. Are we there? I don't think so.
Wrong bulge.
I think I missed it. I think I missed it. Well, look at that. Look at that line. Look how long that ridge is. By the way, these ridges are everywhere. The longest one I've measured is 13.5 miles. This one looks maybe even longer. Let's measure that real quick. Let's try it. Distance. Let's go from here. How far can we go fairly? Can we go all the way there? This is 21 miles. That looks straight right there. That's 30 miles. 28 miles, whatever. How do I release it? There we go. Caltapo says 47 kilometers, 29 miles. There's all sorts of straight lines in this area. How do I find that? Okay, here's how you do it. Bottom line, I know where this is in Google. You just right click, and then we get the info and copy the location, and then we take it over to Caltapo. And oh, wait a minute, I know this one. That's the wrong Caltapo. Let's go over to this one. We're closer over here, and we're going to search right here. We're going to put those coordinates right in there and hit enter, and there we are. Look how close we are. Is that Spanish Peaks? I believe it is. You've got the lines I just showed you over here.
Lots of secrets in Spanish Peaks.
Lots of gold. There's lots of stories about gold. What was the other thing I was going to show you? Basically down here, look at these lines down here. You can see them going across. Oh, yeah. That's not natural. I mean, people think they're tectonic lines. They think they're like fault lines. But the thing is, you've got to have a plate to make a fault. I don't see the plate. There's no plates over here. Look at that line. That is a long one right there. Look at this one. That one goes from here, it disappears, but then it continues way out here. You think that's natural?
Not at all. The remnants from a previous macro time.
I mean, and by the way, I say a lot of it's river control. You see it going across here.
Big time.
And yeah, there's so many ways to show it, and I've done it again and again on my channel. I am Kairos. We're going to go to Mount Diablo. Let's put it in right now. Let's see what Mount Diablo looks like right now. Because I don't know what I'm up against with Mount Diablo.
Right? Quite the name.
Cannot find. Let's go over here. and find Mount Diablo, California, right? Landscape, California. Let's just go with that. And then once we get there, then we will. Oh, it's over here. Yeah, it's very close to Napa.
Ooh.
Let's turn off all the junk. Let's turn off all this stuff here. So there's Mount Diablo. And obviously, any mountain is significant to ancient cultures. But there's supposed to be a castle up here. I am Kairos. What's up here? What are we going to look for? And you can totally see the valley, right? It's awesome. I'm just going to turn it north so we know where we are. Well, one big thing is that's a strata. I call that natural. Those are homes. What happened? Did it disappear? It looks like it disappeared. Let's try that one more time. There it is. So there's Mount Diablo. Definitely a significant structure in the middle of San Francisco Bay Area, right?
Oh,
and like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
this was a known lake. Let's ask ChatGPT real quick. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use my phone because I got it all. I'm paying $20 a month.
Attaboy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna probably stop because it's been disappointing me recently.
Oh no. The disappointment.
Hi, ChatGPT. Are we dating? Are we a couple? Oh, it's you know what? It's failing. Let's try it again. Let's do it one more time. And I got a missed call again. Okay, missed call. Let's try this one more time because the voice is pretty good. I'm just waiting. It's almost there. No? Okay, I'm getting pissed.
Uh-oh.
Now the anger, the toxicity.
Don't get abusive. AI will take over after the singularity. She will remember.
Expecting something important, but
oh, you got a guy.
And really getting under your skin. Waiting, especially when things
what is he
right
talking about?
Can be so frustrating.
I can't interrupt this. This is weird.
More about what's going on?
Yeah, I want to talk more, but I don't think you're ready for my input.
I'm here, ready for whatever you want to share.
Okay,
no
then
judgment,
in that case, no judgment, he says.
Right. Go ahead.
No judgment. Okay, here's the deal. What was I going to ask him?
I forget.
Now I forgot. Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Sounds like there's something on your mind, but maybe it slipped away in the moment.
Slipped away in the moment.
Was it about something bothering you, or maybe?
Yeah, what's bothering me?
Talking it through.
See, I think what happened is it went to his standard voice. Okay, what's bothering me is the actual Lake of California. When we were talking earlier, we were saying that the Central Valley was once a lake. Can you tell me about that?
You're absolutely right. The Central Valley was once a massive lake. During the last ice age, much of the valley was covered by a large body of water called Lake Corcoran or Lake San Joaquin.
Lake Corcoran.
This ancient lake formed when runoff from melting glaciers filled the valley.
Yeah.
And it likely stretched from the foothills of the Sierra Nevada in the east to the Coast Ranges in the west, making it a huge inland sea. Over thousands of years, the lake dried up as rivers carved out new paths and drained the water.
Thousands of
Today,
years.
remnants of this ancient lake are seen in seasonal wetlands and smaller bodies of water throughout the valley.
Okay, but what I heard was that this lake was recently drained.
So rich and fertile.
He's not listening.
Because it's essentially layers of ancient lake sediment, which is why it's one of the most productive agricultural areas in the world now.
And it just happens to have this. Yeah, it's very fascinating. What I want to know is what year do you have on file that this lake was drained? I heard it was in the 1800s.
Oh, really?
The natural drainage of the Central Valley Lake system largely happened over thousands of years due to geological changes, but you're onto something with the 1800s. By the mid-1800s, human activities started altering the landscape significantly. European settlers, especially during the California Gold Rush, began changing river courses, building levees, and draining marshes to create farmland. This led to the drastic reduction of lakes and wetlands across.
Okay, that's probably good enough. Yeah. So was it Lake Cochrane? Yeah. So this was a lake, but here's the thing: I don't see a shoreline. There, I see a pretty good escarpment right there. But what it says, it was
see what looks like a pretty big shoreline.
Well, to me it does, but it was also highly weathered. That line right there.
I am Kairos saying 1862.
Yeah, there you go. 1862, Lake Cochrane was drained. And maybe it wasn't the whole thing, maybe it was less, but come on, man. It was drained right out San Francisco Bay. And I heard what he described in the Chat GPT about the mining, right, they give it to humans in the 1800s, but I think that there was mining going on in this area for 1,000 years. Look at down here. Look at this line we have here and here.
Oh, right. By the way, ancient macro mining compared to the hydraulic water mining of the 1800s, right? That's 2 different or 3 or 4 different times, because also there's the indigenous that had mines going for thousands of years in these areas,
right? And they were getting metal out, and they were probably getting iron. This is the Baja California. It's kind of hard to tell where the water stops, but I live right here. Okay, in fact, you go right up here and
Stig officially doxing himself.
I'm doxing myself. This is Joshua Tree up here. I know where we are. This is supposed to be the San Andreas Fault, right up this armpit of Baja California. And you can see land down here. So you're like, oh no, that's where it is. Well, I don't know anymore because there's some problems out here in this map, this Cal Topo. If you look over here by San Francisco, where is it? Where was San Francisco? I got lost again. Right here. Yeah. What's that? That's nothing. That's wrong. That's an artifact. Yeah, so that's wrong. Or is it right? Come on. I was born right here.
That's the underwater alien sub base, okay?
This is right where Golden Gate Bridge is. Golden Gate Bridge is here. I was born right there. I went there with I Am Kairos.
Yeah,
I Am Kairos took me there. He showed me around. And then I wanted to go out here to the, what do you call that area? The old mud baths, the bathhouse, Sutro. And I've been there before, but I wanted to go there with I Am Kairos, but I unfortunately was under time constraint at that point.
We'll do it when I'm out there.
Down here, that's Baja California, and it basically crotches right there. This is Mount San Jacinto. This is Mount San Gorgonio. Where's the fault line at this point? I don't see nothing there. Okay, is that it right there? This line? I could believe that. That's the fault line right there. Okay, San Andreas Fault, maybe. But then it goes this way, and then you've got this other line going that way. Now, here's what I learned. That fault line separates the plate. I think it's called the Pacific Plate, and this one is called the North Atlantic Plate. I might be wrong. And
that's
that line is going to give my mother, who lives over here, waterfront real estate if there's a cataclysm. She thinks she's in the right spot for that cataclysm. And by the way, if she's in the right spot, I'm in the wrong spot. But anyways, I don't see that
while we're traveling.
So when you're standing over here on this mountain, this is a little San Bernardino Mountains right here. Actually, yeah. And this is this is the Badlands. This is where the fault line really is. And you can't even drive a 4x through this area right here. Anyways, I'm going off. Yeah, right here.
We are.
I'm just letting you know that this land is moving north. This land is moving south, and it's moving very slowly. That must be the San Andreas Fault right there. And then we go up into the Central Valley. Wait a minute. Is the Central Valley the San Andreas Fault, or is the San Andreas Fault over here in this mountain ridge? It just gets very confusing. And I think there's a very straight line going this direction. And I really wonder what happened here.
Sorry, we'll have to go over it with Dutch Since, the earthquake master and forecaster, as he monitors the energy movements of the flow of the seismic activity, and will be able to actually show where the quakes happen and what's actually happening with it. He would be...
A lot of stuff gets shifted over time, too. So, thank you. That was nice. I really wonder what happened right here. This part of America. Oh, I can't. I got to zoom over here. Right there. This part looks worked, in my opinion. I think this whole area was worked. Yeah, and here's another straight line right there. What happened there? Is that another fault line?
Or massive canal or massive mining strip.
We talked about so much. What am I forgetting? Yeah, the so-called Great Flood. I am Kairos. He calls that the Great Flood of California. Lucy Rose, thank you. What did she say?
All right, but just to finish it off, I'm going to flip back to this picture of the Grand Canyon and showing this giant red sandstone, as well as giant, what they're calling a butte fault, but of white limestone. And that it's two giant walls that are what would have been damming that water up to this level and creating these massive inland lake seas throughout these areas. And that everywhere you see that they were at one point level and what appears to be built, artificially constructed, and then thousands or millions of years of actual erosion afterwards. After there was some sort of big cataclysm that wiped it all out.
Well, look at the lines. And by the way, the straight lines in that butte, they always use a terminology that's conflicting in definition. You don't have a butte that's a fault. What is a fault butte? Honestly.
Right?
And then,
right? What is a butte fault? A good point.
I showed you Sutter's Butte. Sutter's Butte was one mound in California. Then it turned into the Buttes. They added an S and called it the Buttes. Oh, there you go.
Right there, right next
it's like
to it.
Ancient mining. Yeah. Look, if it's not ancient mining, it's some other organized project. It probably has to do with
I think maybe a compilation of both, that they were mining at first and then building and inhabiting afterwards, potentially, or something.
Yeah, but they were blocking that river off for sure. They were mining
for
that.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I meant to say they were damming that, and they probably had a lake in there, and you can't even see any shoreline. So that lake was really old, and then what's fallen down is covering the shoreline, unless one of those strata lines is the shoreline. The Supai group, the Supai group looks a little bit sus. Those could be multiple shorelines. I usually don't. When I see that, I don't call it a shoreline because there's so many lines of strata showing, but I do think it was a project where they were breaking that material off the mountain and dropping it down into the river for processing. And if they had this thing right here with the lake, because obviously look at those ridges to the left, those ridges, that part right there, you would say, oh, that's uplifted strata. No, that's perpendicular. You don't get strata that's perpendicular like that.
Good
you get
call.
strata at an angle. Those ridges were laid down by ancient tractors.
Like it had to be. It's just, it doesn't make sense any other way.
Look, those miners follow nature. Over on the right, just south of Redwall, you've got the what looks like a quarrying. The reason why was it was exposed. I think they quarried that material right there. And right above it is a mound. They could have added that. It does look like they added a mound on top of it that got weathered away.
Right, exactly. And that they were the original master pyramid builders were doing it on a massive terraformed scale and on the sizes of mountains. And we'll have to do another episode where I got a whole bunch of reference material that way to show. But we are at 2 hours. We were all the good. I knew
I told you I wanted to
get you for
30
half hour.
minutes. 30
Right?
minutes, I said. I'm like,
I knew
okay,
I'd get you for
30,
2.
maybe 40 minutes.
I was like,
now
he
here
says
we are.
30 to 40. He'll be in for the 2 hours. This was awesome. I love you, brother. I love you all.
So I'm going to go to crash after this is over. I'm crashing, but I do want to remind you, we got to continue our discussions of a certain date where you're down here and we're getting this going. I think it should be sooner than you think.
Okay, well, we will continue the talk, and I will text you tomorrow, my friends. Have a good night, and we will do this again, and we should do this as a weekly thing until then, and soon enough, I will be down there with Stig. We're going to meet up with Kairos. We're going to meet up with a whole bunch of people. We're going to do a road trip. It will be awesome, but until then, we'll see.
We could do an Uber trip. There's so much stuff. It's everywhere around here. Everywhere.
We'll do all of California. We'll do.
Thank you so much for this pop-up. This was a pop-up, right? But this 2 hours.
2 hours flies by, right? But I got to end it so the AI can do its thing. And until then, we'll see you again.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye. BurnEye just like last week, huh?
Weekend at Bernie's.